So, Sarah, dolphins and playfulness today. And we were just really inspired to bring this in. I think, much like, um, I don't know, much like the dolphins, we do need to learn how to come together. And what I was really inspired by was their social structures and the way that they come together in pods. And they all have these different jobs. And I have this theory, and I think this will be open for all of us to explore, that it's because of their social group and their coming together that they can actually have this playfulness that they never let go of throughout their whole life. So I want to kind of pose a question for all of us today while we're sharing, while we're doing our creative exploration, for what can we learn from dolphins and their ability to play. So we've seen them in these beautiful acrobatic displays. And if you've seen them at like in a captive situation where they are with trainers, they're doing essentially the same thing that they do in the wild, where they play with seaweed, they pass things back and forth, sometimes turtles, sometimes other fish, and they do this behavior throughout their lives. Another thing that we're used to seeing is dolphins kind of tagging along with a boat and like surfing the waves that are made by the boats, or just surfing waves for the sheer joy of it. So I'm going to put this question out to you, Sarah, so that we as humans can feel into what is our playful side. So, what do you think the purpose is for play? Why do we need it? And how can it serve us as humans to enhance our playful side? What do you think, Sarah?
Mm, that's beautiful. Yeah, I feel like Dolphin has so much to teach us with that. And being a speech therapist and working with preschoolers, so 3, 4, and 5-year olds, the main part of connecting them to communication is through play, because that's where that back and forth takes place. That's where they learn that something else has another meaning, like eventually communication and language. So, play for me, like in my profession, is the building blocks to communication. So I'm feeling that because dolphins play so much, they're highly communicative, they're highly connected, and they're highly social. And I know, Lori, when I was thinking about playfulness, when I came to you and we started, well, you came to me to start the cocoon, but that was my first cocoon that I wanted to do, was to explore playfulness, because I felt like I had become too serious as a mom, and I played a whole bunch in my career, but when I came home, that kind of fell aside. So exploring that piece of me so I could get more connected to my own children, to my own family. So I really think that it is this piece of being human that can evolve us and grow us to another level of connecting with one another. And I know, Lori, we have in our little contemplation chats here for our cocoon gathering, um, there are other ways that humans connect. And I'm kind of ready to put those more aside and start to really use playfulness as a tool. So a lot of times it's that in in my world, and sometimes in our culture here where we live, it can be that complaining culture, and that's what bonds us. Like we're complaining about something, or we're commiserating. Maybe it's new beginnings. Oh, I got a new job, you got a new job. Those are nice, I really think, to connect with, but there's a piece missing. And I feel like Dolphin is going to show us the way of how to be playful, to kind of open and unlock uh, that just laughter and that joy that makes us feel so good as humans and being around each other.
Hmm, so good. Thank you for that, Sarah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm ready to. I think it's also like, what is our comfort level as a society? And I think it is interesting that for some reason we find it's comfortable to play up until a certain point in our lives, and then there seems to be this like switch on and off. And not everyone, a lot of people don't ever turn that playful side off, but it is a sad thing that it gets turned down or toned down. And I think we have so much that we can learn from dolphins, and even just like their intelligence. They are highly intelligent, they're empathetic. It's not that they're only joyful, they also have other feelings, and they have fear, and they have grief. And I think that we can learn so much from dolphins about that full spectrum. And like you said, not just bonding and creating, that closeness through crisis, which tends to be something that we do bond through, but also learning how to bond throughout our whole lives through play. And like I was just thinking about with my cat, we play together, and I can be really mad at my cat sometimes for like meowing too much at me when I'm trying to work, right? That's like the serious side. But then literally, if I just like start playing with him, I immediately lighten up. I love him so much. And it's instant bond, it's instant love and connection. So yeah, I think for me I just love looking at these pictures.
I know.
We have so
It's so
much that we
cute.
can learn from play as a way to connect and as a way to create that safety and that security. And you do naturally want to help the ones in your life that you have these close bonds with. And so, what would happen for humanity as a race if we incorporated that full spectrum of empathy that I feel the dolphins are showing us in the way that they interact? So, yeah, we could go on and on about how beautiful they are as a species and the way that they form these bonds. And they don't use play just for play, it's also a teaching tool, which is something we do, like you said. It's a big part of your work as a speech pathologist. And I used to teach music through play to babies and toddlers, and it was all about play. And you learn so much. So I encourage all of us to not stop playing, and we might, actually grow our brain. So
Right?
let's see what happens. But yeah, did you have something else to add to that?
Yeah, I was just thinking too, when, I'm always on this journey to like find and become my best self or vibrate a little higher. And what I'm finding is when I do incorporate play, it can be a release of energy, even for myself. Like the other day, my family had a big tickle fight, and I usually don't like doing that. It's very vulnerable for me. But, it got my lungs going, it got my heart pumping, lots of laughter. And I did feel a release of energy that then I was grounded afterwards to then continue to connect with my family. And so, just what it does for you individually, so then you can, feel like you're communicating and responding to your loved ones from a place of compassion and empathy and care. And my question to you, Lori, because I know I seem to struggle with this a bit more, and I know you've always incorporated play into your childhood life and
Right.
adolescent and adulthood. What do you like to do most to bring in play into your adult life? Like, what are some
Ooh.
examples? I was curious when we were talking earlier.
Into my adult life, I feel like part of it is being multi-passionate about creativity, so I think I do try to do at least one creative thing a day, whether it's something musical or something writing or even listening to something fantastical like a fairy tale or something that sort of brings out my inner child in a way. Um, and I'm an artist, so I think I tend to look at the world through the lens of creativity, and I think it helps me stay with my playful side. Um, Yeah, and curiosity, I think, is a big piece as well. I think, trained myself to be more curious, especially in areas that I, in the past, have been more serious about.
Hmm.
So that could be something mundane like a rainy day. I used to resist cloudy, rainy days. And when I got married to my husband, he actually loved rainy, cold, dreary days. And he was like, oh, it's so beautiful. So I sort of was so confused at the beginning, but I trained myself to sort of look through other people's eyes, and I think that playfulness of like, how do they see it? And how could I see it? And getting curious and sort of like mulling things around, I think it helps you be more playful, like a child, who's like, what does this feel like? What does that taste like? Oh, what do you think? Sort of asking questions. And yeah, I think there's many ways. I'll be curious to hear when we do a sharing all together how everybody else brings playfulness into their life or how they would like to.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
that's for me, I think all those things.
I love that. And I love that, like, doing what you're already passionate about that gets you into play, but also like going out of your comfort zone. Because if you think of maybe yourself as a kid or kids, children around you, yeah, they're not scared to like make a wacky sound or do a crazy movement in a dance.
Mhm.
And I find movement tends to music and movement tend to help me get into that zone creativity like you said. Yeah, so kids seem to really have a straight line to that, and it's just as we grow into adults making sure we keep that up or bring it back if we've lost it.
Mhm. Mhm. It's beautiful. Yeah, so I guess I'll leave us with these two questions. Um, I'm curious how others feel about what we've already been talking about. Here's
I know,
a great
so
picture.
cute.
Um, but I'm curious what others feel. So, by playing more, could we form a stronger bond with ourselves, with each other, and the earth itself to become wiser and more connected as a whole? Just what are your thoughts around that? And then another question, when we stop playing, do we actually close off our growth as well? I'm very curious what others think about that as well. So, yeah, I think we'll transition from this little story time portion.
That leads us into our next section where we're going to do some playing. Play helps us learn quicker, and actually, studies show if you learn something through play, you actually create more um, brain pathways 40 times faster than if you were learning through a different method. So, there's a lot of research about kind of why are we doing this today? Why are we looking into being silly and playful? And another studies show that laughing releases endorphins, and smiling can release serotonin. And working on our body movements when we do some gentle movements momentarily, that helps us just tap into our bodies so that when we are communicating using gestures or postures, we're more mindful because that is like half of our message when we communicate with someone. It's not just our words, but how we're moving our body and what we're inviting while we talk using our gestures. So, just some little bits of why we're going to have fun today and laugh and play. And another thing is, it's also good for the lungs and the heart. And yeah, I would say let's just do some like getting into our body a little bit. We're going to use our voice, use our body, and kind of get fun with Dolphin. That's going to be our next section with vocal play. And if you don't know what vocal play is, it's just using sounds, using some gentle movements to get in tune with our voice. Sometimes it's giving something a sound. So Lori and I like to explore creating our own unique sound to manifest something or tap into nature. So today we're just going to kind of explore with our voice, not necessarily make a specific unique sound, but let's start taking in a breath. Relaxing the shoulders, maybe rolling the shoulders. And another breath in. And out through the mouth. And if you don't know belly breathing, if you inhale and your belly extends out as you inhale, and then you exhale, pushing all the air out of your belly as it sucks in. So trying not to use your shoulders or your chest, doing some nice deep belly breathing. Then I'm just gonna get silly after breathing a little bit and just kind of shake off any energy you might have. I'm gonna do a little stomping. Maybe some sounds coming out. Just a lot of times we can wear this energy that kind of sticks to us, or maybe our to-do lists are ruminating in our heads. Just shake it all out. Okay, let's do one more breath. All right. So when I was researching dolphin, one of the things that I found that resonated with me were their clicks. And a lot of the times, researchers felt like the clicks were for echolocation, figuring out how far a dolphin was from something to get the bounce back. But now they're finding that dolphins do this click train and even what's called a click burst. And so they can do 2,000 clicks in a second, which I meant to look this up because that's very impressive to me. My brain can't even comprehend it. And what they're finding, what they think is when they do that click burst, it means let's play. So we're gonna start clicking. So if you don't know how to click, you just take your tongue and you tap it to the top of your mouth. Like that. And if you can't do it, that's okay. You can do anything like it. And Lori's already doing it. We're going to just create a lot of clicks and move our mouths around. Just say, let's play, let's get ready. And feel free if you want to unmute and we can all be clicking together, you can. If you don't want to, that's fine too. And I was actually exploring like trying it really fast too. So like get explorative, go slow, go fast, go high.
Oh.
I need some water.
Yeah.
I like kind of like making it rhythmic too, like. Ooh, Laura, it kind of feels like tap dancing a little bit. Like making little songs out of it. Ooh, that's fun. I like that. I used to tap on everything as a kid and like everyone would yell at me. So this is kind of bringing that up. Like, stop making noise.
It does dry out your mouth.
Yeah, get your water. Very interesting. I'm sure they don't get dry. They're in the water.
No, they're in the water.
All right. Well, and then you can even do, yeah, that's fun. Do you remember doing that as a kid? Almost like a clock. Where you're like slapping your tongue, which now is making me think of the tail slap. All right, we'll move on to our next little dolphin, our dolphin vocal play. That was fun though. We're ready, dolphin. We're ready to play. The next thing I researched and found was dolphins' impressive skill to imitate, and working with children, that's like the biggest piece when I'm trying to get them to say a certain sound or a word. So it's near and dear to my heart, this process of imitation and even teaching imitation sometimes to the little ones. So we're gonna pick some body movements of what us humans can do to imitate something a dolphin might be doing, and then we're gonna play around and imitate back and forth with each other. So just some movements that dolphins do, and they do this to communicate as well. So they don't just use their whistles and their clicks, but also something like a tail slap or a breach. Laura, I know you researched some movements too. A fin slap as well can mean different things. And what else? Jumping up and out of the water. What about a spin? Did you find if a spin means something? I'm sure. And please feel free to contribute if you have more information. We are not dolphin experts, just exploring dolphins. So I'm gonna, out of those, I'm gonna pick a dolphin breach. And I'm just gonna kind of take my body through what that would feel like. So I think I'm gonna come up from the bottom of the ocean, just kind of, if you want to imitate me, going down and then bringing our hands up and out. We'll see how that feels. We'll do that a little bit. Down and up together. I can like feel the surface of the water, and then whoosh. See, and I have to put some sound to it. Just kind of visualizing breaking through the water. I can like feel the sun and the ocean. As the water glides off. And we'll do one more. Lori, would you like to share a dolphin movement in the human body that we can imitate?
Cool. I was feeling there's sort of like side flipper move, um, which, yeah, I don't know what their movements necessarily mean communication wise, but I know that I love this feeling of communicating through movement,
Mm-hmm.
but kind of like going on the side and just like flipping their one flipper.
That feels really good. Like a little hello. It feels like a hello, right?
I like imagining that feeling. I like that we were imagining the water, like the feeling of putting your
Yes.
hand through water and the the push and pull of that experience.
And then the water kind of coming off too. That's what like I was
Splashing.
trying to visualize, like it swiping and trickling off our face.
And I'll do the other side.
Yeah, of course. Gotta make
Gotta
it
even it
even.
out. And the other
It's
feeling
so fun.
I'm getting is that this is like it's like creating momentum in our world. And how often do we give this side of our body attention? I know I don't. Often I'm
Yeah.
focused on the front or the back, but kind of giving some momentum to my sides.
Yeah.
Fun. That's my sound.
I was
It's harder
thinking,
with my left hand.
I think the last time I did this movement was like dribbling a basketball like decades ago.
Dribbling. Switch back.
Go back, yeah.
It's a good workout. Whew.
Can even do your clicks with it too.
And one more I'll do on the side.
I like to like put rhythm to it like it's a little song.
Whew. Gotta like stretch it out after that.
Yeah, that felt good. Yeah, and the thinness of the flippers too. Just feeling that, like the
Yeah.
ours like can go, our hands go all sorts of ways. Do it. Another shake off. Lift our arms and breathe out. And I don't know, I kind of want to just hug myself and say thank you. Thank you, human body, for trying some dolphin fun out. Appreciate it. All right. And we're just going to end our vocal play section with some oohs and ahs. Another thing Lori and I came across was how the dolphin's blowhole can get smaller and bigger to then create different sounds. And I know we have that with our voice. And I was actually showing Lori the difference between air coming out through our nose and making a sound like a and a and air coming out through our mouth to make a sound like a ooh or a ah. So I felt connected with dolphin because in a way we're able to do this as well, making sounds to moving the different sections of our mouth. So like the blowhole, I'm going to try some oohs and then we're going to open it up to ah. So you can just imitate along with me. Ooh, ah. And a nice belly breath so we don't have anything tight in the throat or the shoulders. Ooh, ah. I know we kind of wanted to slide a little bit, so I'll slide up. Ooh, ah. Ooh, ah. I have to do movement with mine. Ooh, ah. Ooh, ah. going to go back to the ooh and the ah, kind of flipping it back and forth. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, wow. Kind of want to do that like it's the ocean underwater. Wow. Wow. I could see Lori going, ooh, wow. Wow." It's fun, that transition. Wow. 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 It's nice to relax the jaw and the neck. Wow. Wow. I'll try one more. Wow. Wow. Hmm. That was nice. I felt underwater vibes with that one. Well, thank you all for imitating back and forth with me and using our voice and using our body for some creative embodiment. And now I will pass it on to Lori for our next section.
Beautiful. That was so fun. I feel like we moved just the right amount of energy. And we are going to be now going into a little bit of like a meditative, intuitive art activity today. And I chose a meditative mandala activity. So I was really contemplating like how to weave in art with dolphins and playfulness. And I'm still so drawn to that sense of safety and security through the pod, through the community, through their social structure. So it brought me to creating a mandala, which is a beautiful circular pattern. So kind of feeling into, we start with a center and then in concentric circles going out, we have these patterns of different shapes, each one being unique, similar to each dolphin being so unique within the pod. So I'm just going to guide us to create our own mandala. We're going to have lots of space for this to do it however you like. So all you need is a piece of paper and any art supplies that you brought along. And I'm just going to bring us through like the first 3 layers of our mandala today. And then I'm going to put on our dolphin slideshow and the music, and we're just going to go into a meditative space with our mandala. But first, I just want to let you know what the word mandala means. So it does come from a Sanskrit word, and it means circle or completion. And it has a long history and is recognized for its deep spiritual meaning and representation of wholeness. So again, sort of contemplating how we can embody this full spectrum of emotion and feeling, including playfulness, to become more whole. So first, step 1 will be to draw one shape, and I would suggest drawing a circle somewhere in the middle of your page. So this is for step 1. You're just going to pick a center point in the middle of the page, and then you'll draw your circle. And with this, it does not matter how perfect it is. It's just going to be sort of like Zen doodling. And once you have your circle, you're going to go pick a shape, and you're just going to put a ring of that one shape around your circle. So in this example, I chose a triangle shape, and I just did a simple 4 directions with my triangle. And you could choose a spiral, a squiggle, a heart. You could make it a flower. So allow yourself to just let whatever bubbles up come in for your first concentric circle. And once you have your shape, this is what I did for my 3rd ring. So I tried to highlight. So after I did those triangles, in between each triangle, I added a little circle and a little squiggle there, a little arched line, a little curve. So that was my 3rd layer that I added in. And you'll see that the pattern you're creating, you'll just be repeating the same shape. And we're just going to keep widening out, staying in a circular form. And if you feel like you want to start a new one at any point during our time, you can. And I'll just show you the last little example I have here. So I also like to play with dots. So for my 4th edition, I did 3 dots with 2 little lines around in the 4 directions. So you can see how each layer builds and creates a little bit of space for the next layers to continue going around in a circular form. So that's just a little way to get started. And you'll continue adding shapes, adding patterns. You can really play with color. You can even fill out many shapes, and then afterward you can go back in with different colors and fill in more in the spaces or add detail. You can make it nature inspired. You can do little branches or leaves, whatever comes to you intuitively. And I'm just gonna share a little bit more as we let loose and relax, that as you build your mandala out from the center, try not to think or worry too hard about what you're doing. Just get into a calm, creative flow. And you can focus on your breathing. And it's very centering exercise. So there's no such thing as a mistake, just the unexpected. So any last little strokes or patterns, you can finish up whatever you're working on and come back into the cocoon. We're just going to spend this last 15 minutes to open up to any sharing that you'd like to have around dolphin playfulness, our vocal play, cocoon, or our mandala meditation. So I'll start with, I'll just share what came out with my mandala. So I just had a lot of fun putting lots of sort of vibrational looking patterns, a little diving with the waves. And then I was thinking about some of these other little things that came out. It was like, oh, maybe that's kind of like the clicks and the pinging, the sonar. I don't know. I was really feeling into the dolphin pod and all the energy that they give to each other with their unique sonar, their unique sounds. So that's what came out for me. I just had fun with green, blue, and a silver marker. So that was nice.
I love it, Laurie. I love how you put woven what we were exploring with our sounds and everything. I liked put in like the colors too to kind of just feel what playfulness and like, I don't know, dolphins playing in the ocean and the sun felt like. And I've actually never made one, so this was my first experience. So thank you. I'm like, I have to do this with my family.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tried to get some water vibes, dolphin vibes. I had like dots for the click clicks as well. But it was really nice and meditative, and I felt like I was getting dolphin energy while I was doing it.
That's so cool. I love that you put little dolphins in there. I was wondering if
Yeah.
anyone was going to be bold and draw a dolphin in their mandala.
Gave it a good go.
Beautiful. It's perfect. No mistakes.
The pod, right? Yeah, trying to create that pod feel.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, this has been absolutely lovely. And
Mm-hmm.
thank you, Dolphin, for showing us the way of bringing in that play. And we'd love to hear if, as you move forward, if you want to send us a little email or something, how you're continuing to incorporate play or your clicks or your dolphin movements or more of the mandalas, anything you learned today. It's nice to infuse it, to continue to infuse it into our lives as we move forward.
Clicking to all of you. Thank you so much for being here. This was, so much fun. I'm glad to just know that we're creating that playful energy today in the world, in our little cocoon, and just know that it matters and it goes out from wherever you are. Even if we're laying in bed all day, we matter. Our energy is going into the world. So thank you. Yeah, we can remind each other, and that's the beauty of having this community.
Bye, everyone.